Hey Facebook, this is Andrew Benton, Benton's Maintenance and Mechanical. I'm just doing a video in response to an article that I saw on WCBI this evening. And they were talking about a problem that I deal with all the time, and there's a lot of education that I wanted to bring into my customers. They normally don't find out about this education until their air conditioner dies. So I wanted to let you guys know on the front end what's going on with the new Freon. First of all, I want to clear that up. Freon is actually a brand name, like Band-Aids. Freon is owned by a company called DuPont, and that's what everybody now calls all refrigerants. And so the article is about the EPA phasing out the old refrigerant or Freon R22, and they have forced everybody to move over to because of the environment. They forced everybody to move over to the new refrigerant, and the new refrigerant is called R410A, and it's the brand name for it is actually called Puron, which is a brand by Carrier. So what the deal is, the way that impacts you, the customer, is if you have an old system and the outside unit, the part that's outside, or if you have a package unit, if your system's over around 10 years old, it's more than likely going to have the old refrigerant 22. And if something goes bad on your outside unit, like the compressor dies, or you get a bad Freon leak, or another major component goes out on that outside unit, and your inside unit has not been replaced in the past 10 years or so, or it's not rated to handle the pressures of the new Freon, the new refrigerant 410A, then you're going to have to, in order for it to work correctly, you're going to have to get a new outside unit and a new inside unit. If it's a furnace, you're going to have to get the coil, the part that sits on top that does the cooling. If it's electric heat or a heat pump, you're going to have to get a whole new air handler to handle the pressure from the new outside unit that we install or that gets installed. And so that's a big expense. It used to be where we could just replace the outside units, but now we have to do the whole system in order for everything to work properly. So what that means is if you have a system that's leaking, that has a Freon leak, the Freon price is going to steadily go up, and it's going to cost more if you have to put Freon refrigerant in it. And it's better to just go ahead and get that refrigerant problem fixed. And most of the time, if you have a refrigerant leak and it's a slow leak that takes 3 to 4 months, or maybe twice a year you have to put refrigerant in it, it's more than likely going to be leaking on the inside part of the unit. And so the good game plan for us to get ready for the new refrigerant is find the leak, whether it be in the inside or the outside, and if it's in the inside part, we can go ahead and change that part out, and we can leave the old outside unit. And then the new unit that we put in will be ready for the new refrigerant. It'll be able to accept the new refrigerant because it'll be rated. And the big thing that's causing the problem is the old refrigerant had lower pressures, and the new refrigerant, the pressures are almost twice as much, and so you can't go putting the new refrigerant into the old system because it's not rated to handle the pressure, and it'll start leaking, and it just doesn't work very well. So that's what we got. That's the response to the article. And so if you're not sure if your system has a Freon leak that's been recurring, another myth that we can bust right now is that air conditioning units do not use refrigerant. They are a sealed system, and if they have to have refrigerant added to them constantly, then they have a leak somewhere. We need to find that leak. We need to repair it, because you're just kicking the can down the road. You're going to still be spending money on refrigerant, and at the end of the day, you're still going to need a new system. And you might as well just go ahead and get it knocked out. You don't have to add Freon to it every year. You don't have the hassle of coming home from vacation and your air's out, and you got to find somebody on the weekend, or you got to find somebody in the evening. Your air will never go out on Monday morning or Tuesday morning or beginning of the week. It's going to go out later in the week. It's going to go out on the weekend, and you're going to be hot. And the days we've been having recently this past week, where the heat index is 112, you need air conditioning. Trust me, Benton's Maintenance and Mechanical needs air conditioning. Our truck's air conditioners are running great, and if they weren't, we wouldn't be working. So that's my response to the WCBI video. I hope you enjoy this.